Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to Narcissu. Without any further ado, let's start chapter 6, Echo. So, chapter 6, there we go. Around when the high-flying sun slowly started to drop into shadow. The silver cope speeding along the tollway. Before long, the Katsuragawa parking area. A short break, a change of pace. Want to stop at the next rest area too? What's wrong? I see. And that probably wasn't unreasonable. She'd been pretty energetic a while back, and that was taxing on patients as sick as we were. Then I'll go buy something for you. I'll be back in a second. I rushed over to the snack stand and picked up a few things no different from the standard convenience store fare. Here, a Pocari Sweat and rice balls and potato chips. My dog's barking. Her response was the same as ever, but she didn't start eating at all. Under usual circumstances, she'd already have torn into the potato chips by now. Are you okay? Could it be that you're not feeling so well? I see. So she was out. I'd been scared of that. Well, yes, when we escaped from the hospital, it was obvious it was going to happen. To be clear, it wasn't as if we were intentionally leaving meds behind. But I hadn't even thought about it up until now. I hadn't even had the senses to think about it. When did you run out? So you'll have been off them for 24 hours pretty soon. The doctors had told me that I could go on without my meds for 2 days or so. Maybe she was the same way. And when I thought about it, it had been 8 days already since we'd left the hospital. And given the amount of meds I'd brought with me, I could see the end of the line coming into view. Just what was I supposed to do? Yeah, I know. You don't want to be at home either. The silver cope in motion once again. Eventually, I got off the tollway at the next exit. I didn't know how. I didn't how. Failure in the translation there. Or writing. I didn't know how that was going to change things, but it wasn't as if staying on the tollway was going to help. I headed into an urban area from the van tollway exit. And I looked for a pharmacy attached to a large hospital, not to a small private clinic. Probably it would have been best just to go to the hospital. And for any normal patient, that would have been obvious. But we were inhabitants of 7F. The ID bracelets around our wrists were white, not blue. And we were escapees from 7F at that. I circled around the neighborhood as I held those thoughts in my mind. Probably, we'd be able to find what we needed at a pharmacy near a large hospital. Found it! A university hospital at a major intersection, and a couple of pharmacies clustered next to it. I figured that this was as good as it got and stopped the car in a vacant lot. Hey, give me your medication bag. She handed the bag over to me with a curious look on her face. I looked into that bag and took out the medication list therein. This was just what I needed. Alright, I'll be right back. Leaving her in the car, I ran toward the nearby pharmacy. The automatic door slid open and I walked in. I headed directly for the counter. Pharmacist, welcome. A middle-aged man came to the counter to greet me, probably a pharmacist given his white coat. Could I have these drugs, please? Yes, of course. Just a moment. With the medication list that I had given him, he retreated into the interior of the pharmacy. Probably this was a pharmacy affiliated with the hospital, not just your standard mom-and-pop outfit. I'd gotten my meds dispensed from places just like this back when I was attending outpatient clinics. After all, it was right next to the hospital, so this place should have the meds we needed. Thank you for waiting. Here we are. The pharmacist had come back after a short time. He was holding 2 plastic bags, each of them full of medication bottles. With that amount, we'd be fine for now. That would probably last her for a week or so. And when I took out my wallet from my pocket, oh, may I see a prescription? Prescription? Yes, as these are prescription medications. Your doctor did give you one, yes? I'd forgotten about this. These are no ordinary medications, so I couldn't just waltz in and buy them. Is something the matter? Oh, well, as I stammered and stuttered, the pharmacist looked on with suspicion. Wait, that's... And then he noticed the ID bracelet on my wrist, the letters inscribed on it. My name, my blood type, and the name of the hospital. Oh! The medications that he'd left on the counter. I swiped them up all at once. Hey, stop right there! He shouted at me from across the counter, but that was to my back. I'd already started sprinting. Only 5 meters to the door. My legs were weak. I was wobbly, but I kept running nonetheless. And when I was about to sprint out of the slowly opening door of the pharmacy, just then... Thud, crash. Ow, damn. My senses whited out for a second. I'd hit my head on the edge of the automatic door so hard that apparently the glass of the door had shattered. Dizzy, almost syncopal, I first opened the half-closed door with my hands, and then I broke off into a dead sprint. I did not once let those medications go. I was so out of breath that I felt like fainting. Only a few more meters to the car, but it felt much longer. Nobody was giving chase to me, it seemed, but I didn't have the time to be looking behind me anyway. Because if I got caught, then what would happen to her? Would she wait for my return forever alone in that car? I ran for dear life with those feelings at heart. Staggering, short of breath, saddened that this was all the strength I had. I collapsed in the driver's seat and floored the pedals. I was forced to realize that I was even weaker than I was at the pachinko parlor. And when I checked myself in the rearview mirror, there was blood on my forehead, maybe from a glass shard. Well, hopefully the bleeding would stop soon enough. I applied pressure with a tissue as I drove.
大丈夫？
No. Yeah, I'm fine.
でも血が出てるし。
Yes. Yes, I am. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. I waved my hand to tell her not to worry as she looked at me with concern. And then I handed over the medications that I had tightly clutched in my left hand. Here, take your meds. For now, we would be fine. Those meds would last for maybe a week. But what were we going to do when that ran out? I'd managed to get by pretty well today, but it was obvious that I was losing strength daily. We originally had no plan or destination, and you could not feel any fear of losing something you did not already have. But things were a little different now. A purpose had been born, and so a fear of losing that purpose had also been born. Well, guys, I'm gonna end this episode here. If you enjoyed this episode of Narcissu, leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!